So let's log in into our console, and today we will configure ACL, and we will also see how to configure VPN on site to site. So right now let's log in. So we are coming in our console, and first, okay. So we will open VPC services. Now we are in VPC management console in Mumbai region. Let's see if we have any VPCs over here. So by default, there should be one VPC. Yes, we do have one VPC, and let's go into the another tab, your VPC. Okay, so this particular VPC, guys, is the default one. You can see that this is the default VPC. Yes, it is the default VPC. So we will create our own VPC first. So my VPC, and for this VPC, we will create a network, our ACL. So let's 10.0.0.0/16. We have given it a IP range. Now we have a VPC. Okay, good. Now let's create a public subnet in it. So there is no subnet. We will create a subnet because when we are running a EC2 instance, we require to mention a subnet. So we are creating a subnet in the VPC we have just created. So my VPC, we will select that. You can see CDR range is there. It is showing us. Now again, we will create the subnet, my subnet. Now giving it a IP range 10.0.0 10.0.0.0/24. Now we have a subnet. Now let's move on to the route table, and by default we should have a route table by now. Okay, so we have a route table. Let's check what is the route table that belongs to my subnet is the first one. So this is the route table. We are just making sure that all the configuration is right or not. So over here, you can see this is the route table. Is any subnet is associated with this? Okay, let's associate subnet with this, and we will also attach our internet gateway because this is our public subnet. That's why we must have an internet gateway attached with it. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to create an internet gateway. So we are going to the internet gateway tab, then we will click on the option of create. Then name tag my gateway. Nothing else. Now let's just create our gateway. Okay. Action attached to the VPC. Which VPC? My VPC. So this VPC we have created. Again checking. Okay. So now we have successfully attached the internet gateway. Now moving on to the subnet again. We have my subnet. Now let's add the route that will allow the subnet to communicate properly with the internet. So by default, local is allowed. Local traffic, locally generated traffic is allowed, but we also want our internet connectivity because that is our public subnet, that's why. So let's check what is. So this particular route table belongs to the VPC we have created. So I'm naming it my route table. Uh, okay. So let's see, is the subnet association is properly there. Okay, my subnet is associated. Now check the routes. What are the routes? You see there's one route that is local. Let's edit route. What we want to edit? We want to add a internet gateway. Let's select the internet gateway, and this is what we have created. We will save the changes. Now it is attaching the route into the route table, route to the internet gateway. Okay, now just reconfirm. We have our internet gateway, we have local route up. Okay, now it's turn to create the network ACL. Okay, we will create by default. There's a, you can see both are the default one. So let's create our own ACL. My ACL, we are naming it my ACL VPC. Which VPC? The VPC we have created, that is my VPC. We will attach that VPC with this ACL. Now, select my ACL. Now we will check out the configuration. Okay, subnet association. First, just attach the subnet. There is no subnet right now associated. So we will attach the subnet first. My subnet, select that. Now save changes. Inbound rule. Okay. So by default, you can check out all traffic is denied. So before doing any changes, let's reconfirm that is the ACL working properly. So we will first create a EC2 instance, then we will try to remotely access it. So we will check if we are able to RDP it. So according to our current ACL, we should not be able to RDP because we haven't allowed any kind of traffic to go through. Guys, network is quite slow today. So if you miss something, please mention it to me. I will repeat it back to you. Okay. Now open in the new tab, VPC, coming back to the ECT again. We will create an instance. Taking time. Okay, we are in the console now. So this EC2 I have created earlier. So you can see the state is terminated. We will create a new instance. Okay. my EC2. Now we will select the image. Selecting security key. I have one already created, JK. Now important section over here, guys. In network setting, you have to make sure that you always launch your EC2 into the desired VPC. So if you have created VPC and I want to launch this EC2 instance into my VPC, that's why I will be selecting my VPC. Eventually in my VPC, I only have one subnet, so it will be it gonna select the subnet automatically, and assigning of public IP, we will enable that. You can enable this function while creating the subnet also, but we did not enable that during that time. So now we will make sure that we get the public IP. Okay, now I'm launching the instance. It will take some time. Will take some time. So let's check, recheck. We have a VPC, my VPC. Okay. Let's check the VPC ID and other informations. Main route table. All good. Okay. We have the routes attached, subnet associated, and now going back to the our ACL. My ACL, guys. We will be doing configuration in this. So my subnet is associated, my VPC, it is attached with my VPC. So right now let's check what is the inbound rule. By default, all traffic is denied. Whatever ACL you will be creating, so when you create an ACL, by default, all traffic is denied. But in default ACL, when we create a VPC, we get a default ACL, and in that default ACL, we have all traffic allowed, inbound and outbound. So, okay, let's go to the EC2, and we have our instance up and running. It's in the running state now. I will select that. Now connect. We will do RDP. So first let's get the password. Uploading key, JKPIM. Now let's copy the password. Remote desktop.
Save the password.
Instance. Hmm?
You need to save.
Yes, I remember that I have just copied it. I haven't saved it. So don't worry. Public IP, guys. We are not able to do RDP. Guys, you can check it out, right? Okay, now we will configure our ACL. We will add some rule and then we will do the RDP again. So we will adding our inbound rule. First of all, guys, when you are creating the ACL, so how you will justify what are the inbound and what are the outbound. So always remember that this ACL is belongs to you. So it means that whatever laptop or device you are using. So let's assume that in this ACL, this belongs to your particular device and what kind of traffic you want to receive right now. So if I am the EC2 instance that is present in my VPC that I have created, my VPC, my subnet. So my EC2 instance, let's say I am that right now and I am creating a network ACL for myself. So I want to receive a RDP traffic because clients will be RDP the EC2 and they will be accessing the resources. That's why first of all I want to do the RDP to my EC2 instance. So I will generate the RDP rule inbound RDP allow. So we will save this change. Now what are the outbound rules? Added outbound rule. I will add a new rule TCP. Let's allow TCP or DCP. So I will be receiving RDP traffic and after receiving what I am sending out, I am sending TCP packets. So guys, I will show you that in later session. So right now you can see we have configured the rule and we will try to connect again. This time we are able to do so. So let's log in. Yes. Okay. So we have successfully RDP. Now what we want to do again. So guys, over here you can see let's go to the edit rules again. So I am adding the new rule. So inbound, I will be receiving the TCP packet because I want to have a HTTP connection. So when you select HTTP, guys, you see that HTTP protocol is also in reside in the protocol of TCP. So rather than HTTP, what we will do, we will allow all TCP, and you will see when once I allow all TCP, save changes. Even I have allowed now all TCP. You can see RDP also runs with the help of the TCP. So if I delete this RDP rule, what it mean? I am still able to do RDP to my desktop because all TCP is allowed. So I will be removing this rule and all TCP. I am selecting this rule. Let's see if I am still able to connect. So let's say save these changes. And if my theory is right, my desktop connection is still up and running. You can see over here. So it's still up and running in inbound rule. Let's come again. Now, how will you find out by allowing all TCP what you have allowed? So we will be creating new rule. Let's see in HTTP. I want to use HTTP. So HTTP 80. You can see this is also reside in the TCP. So that also is using TCP. So TCP has six other protocols that it there are six other protocols that depends directly on the TCP. So if you are selecting all TCP, it means that you have selected all the other underlying protocols. What are these protocols? ICMP and your RDP, HTTP. There's a name of few. So for that, what I want to tell you over here that guys, you need a proper knowledge about all the protocols and what protocols depend on which protocol. So proper knowledge is obviously required while configuring the inbound and outbound rule in any kind of ACL, whether that ACL belongs to the AWS or any kind of router or any subnet you are configuring. So make sure that you know all these rules. So right now you can see when we are in our desktop, by allowing all TCP, we are able to get the HTTP packets also, because now what I will do, I will try to connect with the internet. You can see, are we able to? So it's telling you to create account with Microsoft, but you can continue without creating any account. Okay. Over here, you can see we have network connectivity. We will try to connect with the YouTube. It's working, guys. Now, guys, let's recheck this. How we will recheck this? I have something. Uh, After minimizing it, I am in my ACL, and let's check the inbound route once again. So I have allowed all TCP. I am editing the rule one again. What I am doing, I am deleting this rule, remove, and I am adding one other rule, that is of RDP. So my session, I still be connected with the EC2, but I will not be able to use the internet. So let's choose the RDP. I have saved this rule. Now I am once again in my in my EC2. So let's check if I still get that connectivity. So YouTube. So it's loading. Let's try if we get a new tab also. So we don't have the internet connectivity. We are trying to connect with the YouTube. We are not able to connect with the YouTube. Not even. We are not able to open the new tab also. Okay. So let's minimize this, and we will again add the TCP rule. You can select HTTP also. but we are doing this for testing purpose. So I'm selecting the TCP only because then I don't have to add multiple rules because I have to attach HTTP, then HTTPS also. So both side I have attached the TCP rule. All six are allowed by default. Now you see, as I allowed it, I am able to check the YouTube. And now go to the new tab. You see, new tab is like this. When I refresh it again, I have connectivity. So, any doubt, guys?
Clear.
Okay, good. So now moving on to the another topic. If you want, guys, like earlier, you remember in our previous classes, what we were trying to do, we allowed the HTTP. This is what we have done in previous classes also, but we were not able to see the ping traffic, right? When we were doing the ping, when we are trying to ping our EC2 instance, we are not able to do so. When I checked why this problem is occurring, so our EC2 is the part of this particular security group, and in this security group launch with a default. So this one is attached with our EC2. And when you check out the security group, the only rule that is allowed in security group inbound is RDP. So that's why it wasn't able to receive. You can see edit inbound rule. If you edit inbound rule and if you edit a ICMP packet in it, so in the inbound rule of security group, only RDP is allowed. That's why when we were trying to send a ping message to our EC2, we are not able to do so because only RDP is allowed. So we have to do some changes in the security group also. So it means that when we are configuring ACL, we have to make sure that route table and our security group are also agreeing with the ACL rules. That's why, okay, if they don't agree, if there is a collision, if they are not agreeing on something, what will happen? We will have some misconfiguration. Okay, so you can check it by yourself, try different rules, try adding different rules. So coming back to the VPC again, and what is today's topic? Today's topic is our VPN. So guys, a virtual private network, we talked about that. What if we don't want any uh, we don't want any public connectivity? If we just want that our corporate office only can able to access the set of instances or a subnet. So that subnet, that private subnet that has a VPN connectivity, what it means that we have a VPN connectivity and we are accessing all the subnet, all the EC2 instances in the subnet by the help of VPN connection. That is, so we have two parts in it. Customer, one is the
Your voice
private.
garbled, ma'am.
Okay, is it fine now? Is it better?
Yes. Can you repeat the last?
Yes, guys. Okay. So we are talking about VPN, and let me open up the slide. VPN. So this is your virtual private network. So this network has two connection, two part. One is the interface that belongs at the client side. So let's say I am the customer and I am using the AWS services. So there is one interface that is attached with the corporate part, that is attached with me. So and another one is attached with the AWS. Both these interface will then create a tunnel and in which we are using IPsec. This IPsec will do the all encryption. So let's go and let's check out the definition. By default, instances that you launch in Amazon VPC cannot communicate with your own remote network. So if you have a remote network, by default they are not able to communicate. You can enable access your remote network from your VPC by actual virtual private gateway. So this is a gateway, and this gateway has two part. One is the client side and other one is the server side. Okay, creating custom root table, updating your security group rule, creating a AWS managed VPN connection. AWS support Internet Protocol Security IPsec. So it's supporting IPsec. What are the components of VPN? Virtual private gateway. A virtual private gateway is the VPN concentrated on the Amazon side of VPN. On your Amazon side, you have virtual private gateway. Customer gateway is with your client. Okay, whoever is using the Amazon services, let's say I am, so if I am configuring it, so I am the customer right now, so I have the customer gateway, and virtual private gateway is the that reside on the Amazon side. So this is the diagram, guys. You have your VPC in which you have your subnet route table, and you have your virtual private gateway in the Amazon premises. Then you have a customer gateway in your corporate network, and both are connected with the VPN. So let's try to configure this. We will go in the VPN section, customer gateway. Right now, there's one deleted gateway. I have created this. So we are creating customer gateway. My customer gateway. Okay. So we have that. ASN, guys, this is a serial number. So there is a particular range you can use. So this is basically a serial number that is allowing you to send a particular, they are timing they're basically timing the transfer rate. So when you are sending the packet, there's a particular rate and ASN number. So this is underlying topic. You don't have to go in deep, but if you want to read, you can click on the info and go to the documentation and read that. Now we have to provide a IP. So over here you have to provide the gateway IP. So we are in the customer gateway. What gateway IP? The IP of router. If we are configuring it to the router, if we have a hardware VPN, then we will be providing the IP of that hardware VPN device. But right now we don't have anything like that. We will just put a random IP. Okay. No certificate. We also don't have the certificate. There's a particular certificate. So if you want to have a security, you can also use the certificate. You can generate it. It has a whole different procedure. So in basic, you don't have to understand that. But when you go in the deep and professional level, you might need all this information. So refer the documentation, guys. Now we have created this customer gateway. First, let's Okay, it's available now. Now virtual private gateway. So what is virtual private gateway, guys? This is the Amazon side gateway. Okay, so we will first create the virtual gateway. My virtual gateway. Okay, so Amazon system autonomous system numbers. We can see it just some sequence numbers. So default, we are just using default because right now we are not going in too deep. Okay, custom ACN, if you have deployed your own ACN number, then you have to select the custom ACN. So let's create virtual private gateway. Now what we have to do, we have to attach a VPC. So this is a gateway. This interface is present with the AWS. So we should be attaching a VPC to it. After attaching the VPC, almost now
And we do not need to attach the VPC with the.
customer gateway, no, you don't have to. Okay, because from the customer gateway you will be connecting with the virtual private gateway. So afterwards, virtual private gateway will be directing your traffic. So every information should be present with the virtual private gateway. From your customer gateway, you just want to access the VPN, right? Getting it?
Okay.
Okay, good. So side to side VPN connection, let's do that. Create a VPN connection. Okay, guys, first we will create a VPN connection. Okay, now VPN, we are naming it VPN. Over here, we have to select our virtual private gateway. So my virtual private gateway for my Amazon side, and for my client side, my customer gateway. Again and again, guys, there are two different gateway. Make sure you don't get confused in between them. Okay. So dynamic, if you have want to create static, you can choose static. Okay. Over here, you have to give the IP, the IP range. Getting it? So when you are when you are directing the traffic, you have a certain IP range, right? In your customer side also, there's a particular range that is running. So over here, you will mention the range of customer gateway. So all your CDR block that is running on the client side, and in this you will mention the CDR block of subnet that you are running in the AWS side. So so let's not go into the details. It is optional. So if you will be having all these details, so you can mention the CDR block in here. But right now we don't. We just want to create the VPN. So let's quickly create the VPN. So over here you can see, guys, the VPN is now getting created. It's in the pending state. Refresh. So it's in the pending state. It will not up and run until and unless you configure the client signed gateway. So over here you have created the interface. Now what you have to do, you have to configure that interface in at your client side. So in client side, if you have a VPN hardware device, you will configure in that. If you have your router, so let's select the vendor. So we have different router over here. We are downloading the configuration. So in the client side, how we will configure the customer gateway, we are downloading that configuration. So let's say we have different routers provided over here. You can check out. Checkpoint is there, Cisco is there, Fortinet, Generic, Juniper is also there. So let's go with the best firewall. Best. Okay. So we are selecting the Palo Alto network, series PA, download. So we have the file now. Okay. So let's open the file and let's see what are the different tests. Over here, each and everything is mentioned. Okay, guys, you can see Amazon Web Services, virtual private clients. So your VPN connection ID, your ID is there, virtual private gateway ID is there, and your customer gateway ID is there. Okay. Then in IPsec tunnel 1, in tunnel 1, what is happening? Internet key exchange. Key exchange is happening. Okay, guys. Then what you have to configure? You have to set of protocols. You can see enable. You have to enable. Then step by step, the guide is given to you. You just have to follow the all procedure. Okay, IPsec configuration, then tunnel interface configuration, set IP range. You can see edit network. You can see everything is mentioned over here. Edit network interface range. So step by step, what you have to do is mention over here. So right now I don't have the whole lab setup, but you don't have to go in that detail. You can practice in any virtual lab trying to set that up. So you can see IPsec tunnel 2. Now the packet is going. All configuration, step by step configuration, each and everything is mentioned in here. What you have to do, you just have to access the router and start doing all this configuration. Now closing it. Guys, tunnel detail, you can check out the tunnel detail. Let's see tunnel detail. Tunnel detail over here, you can see outside IP address and tunnel 2. So we get automatically two tunnel, but if our one tunnel is down, our traffic will survive and go through from the tunnel 2. Okay, details, VPN ID, let's select that and check the details. Okay, guys. Virtual gateway ID, we are getting customer gateway IP address. This is what we have configured. So this is the IP address. So this is the IP address of my router, the Palo Alto, which I have selected. All option are default. So guys, outside IP address, this is the IP address of my customer gateway. So what is the IP address of the interface, the VPN interface that I have configured in the Amazon? What is IP address of my virtual private gateway? What is the IP address of that connection? So this is the router we are connected with. So there are two devices, right? From let me open up the paint to explain it better. Guys, please mute yourself. So you have two routers, one at the client side and one at the Amazon side. So at the client side, you have given the IP address because you belong to the client side, because over here you are running the AWS. So you are working, and now what you have a IP address that you want to connect with the AWS to do the tunneling. So what is the IP address that AWS interface has? At the end of this tunnel, what is the IP address of that router that is connected with our client side router to create the tunnel? You can see the IP address over here. So for tunnel 1, the IP address is this, and for tunnel 2, the IP address is this. Okay, guys? Any doubt?
Actually didn't understand this topic at all.
Okay, guys. What like from the beginning you didn't understand? What is like you didn't got?
Actually, what trying uh, and for what
Okay,
purpose?
okay. P purpose. Purpose, guys. When I was teaching you VPC, we saw different type of VPC, didn't we? Right? VPC with a public subnet, VPC with two public subnet, and VPC with public and private. So in private subnet, we have this hardware configuration also and VPN also. Let me just go to the slide. Mm, mm, mm. Yes, over here. So VPC with a private subnet only and hardware VPN access. So right now we are not doing the hardware VPN access because we do require that hardware to configure the VPN. So VPC with public and private subnet and hardware VPN. So this hardware can be your router. This hardware can be your VPN like a certain device for VPN. Over here you have your corporate data center. Okay, guys, and you have your subnet. This subnet is your private subnet. This subnet is not connected with your NAT gateway. So no one can come in, no traffic can go out. Only this IPsec tunnel, this VPN tunnel, this virtual private network only can come in and perform any task and access the resources that are available in your private subnet. Okay, so this is for security. Guys, you know that your traffic is traveling in between the routers. Eventually there are routes, when you are using internet, it is just a van, a big van, a very big van. So the biggest van is your internet. So it just we are able to communicate with each other. That's why it create the chances of, you know uh, uh, that some bad intended actors get access to our packet when they are in, like in between our route. Let's say I want to move from like from point A to point B. I don't know what route I'm taking because I'm using internet. So in case when we are connected to the public network, there's a high risk of bad actors, those person who can capture our packet and, decipher our information. So for that, what we are doing, we are creating a tunnel. So in this tunnel, what is happening, my router from, like my company router is now connected with the AWS router. So there's a direct tunnel, and the packet, we are still using, a network which we don't know, but in this tunnel the packet is uh, encrypted. We have the benefit of encryption. So even if the packet goes out, the task, like everything is encrypted. So whole process of encryption is well designed. There are two phases, there are different kind of encryption and different kind of VPN technology that is there to for our use. But right now in AWS, we are using IPsec tunneling. So in IPsec tunneling we have two kind of phase. So in phase one, we exchange the Diffie-Hellman keys. So we are exchanging the key, private and public. So we are not exchanging the private key, we are exchanging the public key and the Diffie-Hellman key. We are generating Diffie-Hellman key by the help of combining our private or the some syntax of the key. So we are generating key in phase one, we are exchanging the key, and in the phase two, what we are doing, we are now sending the packet by after encrypting it by the help of the key that we have generated. So over the internet, we never shared our private key, we never shared our private information, but we still able to communicate through the help of the encryption. So this encryption process, if I encrypt something from with my public key, I can only decrypt that with my private key. No one can decrypt that, because the two-way process, the reverse process, will require so much computation that total compute that we have right now, we cannot do that. If we talk about the biggest supercomputer, it will still required that supercomputer to, work for ages, for years, to do the decryption. The reverse is not possible. Only one way is possible, that is doing the decryption with the private key. If you want to do decryption without the private key, you cannot do that. If you try to find out what is the private key, if you have the public key and you have the message, now what you need is the private key to decrypt that, and you are trying to find out what is the private key. So what will you do, you will try to reverse the process. If public if you try to reverse the process with the help of your public key, you will not be able to do that, because that will require a large compute power, and that compute power is not easy to access. Guys, please let me know any other doubt. Are you still didn't get what is this topic? Is this
How
clear?
it is different from normal VPN we use? It is similar or
Okay,
conceptually?
this is the okay, the concept is equivalent, the concept is totally same, but right now you are connecting with the AWS. So AWS is not giving you the access to the router, it is giving you some patches. So over here you can see you are creating a tunnel, and until the tunnel is set up, you till that moment you don't have access to the router or the IP address that the interface belongs to. So when you are configuring the virtual private gateway, and when the gateway is up, then only you get to know what is the IP address you are connecting with. Otherwise, you don't know what IP address you are connecting with, because AWS not sharing the router's IP address. It gives you the possibility to create your VPN. When you are creating the VPN, then do require the tunneling, and for that you need the other participant, you need that IP address. That's why it is given to you right now. So it is exactly same, like in the historical, sorry, I'm saying historical, like in the traditional premises, what we have two site. one site and one site A, site B, and we are tunneling them. We are creating a VPN tunnel. Then what we need? We need the IP address, a public IP address for each of the Okay, guys, we got disconnected. How much you have heard? Guys, am I audible?
Yeah.
Guys, am I audible? Please let me
Yes,
know.
yes, you are
Okay,
Yeah.
very audible.
okay, good. Please do let me know how much you have heard, or do you want me to repeat, or is there anything you want me to, there are some student who want me to give a brief on VPN. So,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
Iman was that student. So is it
Brief on, please, man.
okay? So I hope, like right now, I don't see Iman. If any of you doesn't have the proper information about the VPN, this topic will create some complication because it is directly like depend. It is like equivalent. It's totally equivalent to the VPN. Now, what we are using VPN in AWS. We are using VPN connectivity with our cloud provider. We are not we are still use but we are still doing site to site. Cloud is also our another site present on the cloud. So we are still doing the same procedure, but having the VPN, the topic of VPN, that should be very clear to you. You should understand what is the VPN, what are the two different phases, what is the key exchange phase, and what is what. So that's why, guys, please tell me.
So, we are actually creating a complete VPN system here.
uh Okay, so when you are configuring a VPN, you understand that you have to enable the IPsec in your router, then you have to enable the VPN connection, then you have to do the same procedure onto the other router that you want to connect, right?
Uh,
Uh, Please answer again. I didn't hear it.
Yes, okay, I said okay.
Yes. So you have your two routers that is belong to two different sites. So you are doing the configuration in the routers, but now you are doing configuration in the AWS DEX board. So in your virtual private cloud, you have created subnet. In that subnet, you have created a private subnet. Now you want that particular private subnet has a VPN connection. You don't want any public connection lingering around that private sector. So you want a proper VPN connection because you want proper security. Then what will you do? You will create a interface who in between who there should be two parties. If we are like connecting them, at least there should be two parties present. So one party is me, because I am the cloud administrator for XXY corp. So let's say I want to have a VPN connection for my private cloud, for my private subnet. What will I do? I will create a customer gateway, and that customer gateway I will configure that on my router. Now I will create a virtual private gateway on AWS because I don't have access to the AWS router, because no router, they are not giving us. In VPC, you have route table, you have other ways to make communication happen, but you don't have the direct access to router. So that's why I am creating a virtual private gateway, and that gateway will I will attach that gateway to my VPC. And then in my route table, then I will attach the VPC, I will attach the gateway ID. Then what will happening over here? uh, I am able to when in whenever I will be sitting, uh, m- my screen is visible to you, right?
No,
No, let me
no.
share it. Okay. So let me tell you the whole process, what is happening. Let's say this is my computer. I am sitting over here and I want to access my subnet. So this private subnet is in the VPC, and that VPC belongs to the AWS. So in my VPC, what I have, what will happen from my client service connect to my router. This is the router. Then I will from this router, what will I check? The VPN connection, because I'm accessing the private network. So if there is a connection, what is the connection? Connection in between customer gateway and virtual private gateway. So on the Amazon side, I have virtual private gateway. So this virtual private gateway is connected with the VPC and connected with the subnet. What is happening now? I am able to access the subnet through my corporate office. Okay, guys. I still don't have any access to router. I still don't. I am not able to get into the router, but I do have the IP of router only after creating the VPN, because that is required. Now, this is the configuration file, guys, that you have to do when you are setting up your router. When in your router, you have to do the VPN, right? VPN configuration. In your cost, you have access to your router. So your router, you have to make you do the configuration right. So read through this topic, this whole PDF. You will find out that step by step guide is given to you how to configure router in your premises and how to make sure that your gateway is up and running. Okay. Now coming to the route again, route table. Sorry. With my VPC, I have created my route table. I will check. Okay, selecting my route table. Routes. In this, after doing the configuration at your router at the corporate site, after configuring the customer gateway, what you will add the route. Let's read it out. So right now, guys, I don't have any corporate office or the corporate router. That's why it will create some confusion. But once you try to do it by yourself, each and everything is written over the page. So when you try to do it, you will understand it much better. So just understand that you are creating a tunnel. So for creating a tunnel, you need two parties. Who are the two parties? The corporate and AWS. Corporate is using AWS services. So on the corporate side, you have to configure the customer gateway. Then VPN is allowed by the firewall. So there are different firewall. You can upload the configuration. You can download the configuration, then do the configuration into the firewall. Okay, guys. You also has address. So
But we also don't have access to.
just what? Can you repeat yourself?
I said we also don't have access to routers, so we will not be able to
Yes, yes.
check.
Over there now, running their own router. So the problem is, uh, so maybe in the same way they use the same router, but you know, with Yes, I'm sorry, guys. Bad connection. Okay. So I was telling you that in the VPC, you the question I have been asked that you don't have the access to routers also. So it doesn't matter we don't have access or not. We do have all the routing capabilities with us. So they are do providing us all the configuration that is required to direct the traffic. They are providing us all the security that is required to control the traffic. So everything is with us, but they are not sharing the direct interface of the router. Okay, so for that we have to move on to the another service. So if we have that service, then we can generate our own router over the AWS. But right now we are just sharing the routing capacity with other AWS users. Got it, guys?
Yes.
Okay, please guys do let me know any doubt if you are facing any doubt, if the topic is still unclear. Having
Hi.
the Yes, please.
Hi, I have a question, please. Is it possible that we can practice all this in AWS cloud?
Yes, yes. If you have your free tire account, you are able to practice each and everything.
Okay. So,
Okay.
is it possible that we can get those accounts from Okta?
I'm sorry.
Is it possible to get any free account from Okta? Do they provide any free accounts?
I'm not aware about that.
Okay, so we need to apply by ourselves for AWS account.
Yes, it's very simple. You go to the AWS and if you have already like this is your first time creating the account, or
Oh,
you
yeah.
have created. Okay, it's just very
Actually,
simple. You just provide your email address, and after the verification, you have the account. But you do also required a debit or credit card. They will be creating a minimum charge of 2 or 3 rupees, and it will reflect back again. So simple, just one card and one working email. So you will be able to do the verification. So that's all that is required.
okay, and may I know how many days has it already been passed for this Zoom AWS class?
Okay, so for that, like today is the last day for like um, as long as I am aware, today is the last day, and we have covered EC2, we have covered VPC and the basic of AWS. So for further information, like you can ask the administration, so they will give you the other information. But as long as for the classes, I have some other work. That's why I am not able to continue. So they will be either assigning you a new trainer or they will be giving you the other details. Okay,
Okay, okay, got you. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, guys, any other doubt? Today was the last day. I was thinking that, that if I'm saying the name right, Imam asked. So I was just hoping that he was present, so I will be able to do the VPN class, because having the information about the VPN is required. So when he will be do the configuration, he will face a very hard time, guys. So make sure that you help each other out, and any doubt, guys, please do let me know. If you want me to explain any topic, like whatever we have covered till now, if you want any topic to be revisited, please do let me know.
Okay.
Uh, we are
I don't.
not covering other topics like S3 or CloudWatch and AWS Lambda.
Okay, so I have what I am saying, that I have work, so I am not going to be the part of the training. Other information you can ask for the administration. I don't know like what is the plan they are using. So when they ask me, I have given my plan that I will cover these topic. So in the earlier of the like in early days when we just started the training, I showed you different plans. So I have to I have to leave this training in middle. I'm really sorry, but you can ask the administration if they are continuing this class, or what are the next procedure.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I will. When I log in into the LinkedIn, I will connect. Any doubt, guys? Other than this, any doubt in any topic? Please let me know. Nelson was saying something.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. He just what I wanted to ask is the same question he just asked you now. If you'll be a continuation to the class, it's all the same.
Okay. Uh, I can't give you my words. You can ask the administration, like the connector, the person who send you the class details. You can ask with them, or let me call the previous trainer. He will let you know about the other details.
All right.
Okay.
Please, I hope that each everyone here is on that group chat because I don't know. I would like us to have a collaborative this practice. I just created my AWS account and it's
Mm-hmm.
working fine. I just created an AWS account, so I would love to work with those that are here. I don't know if they're on the group chat. Maybe I can set up a group chat so that we can collaborate while learning online on AWS practical. This because I want to practice this.
Okay, so you are asking, is there any AWS community over there? You can sign up and get the latest update about the AWS services.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there are like different communities. If you go to the page itself, you will find out that they are creating blog, and you will get different community sections also. So check the website. Let me open up.
Your screen is not shared.
So I'm just checking. I will show you once I find out, because these community I'm not the part, but I am sure that they do have certain communities for AWS services. So let me check out first. Yes. So over here, guys, first thing you can see the student who is going to configure the AWS for the first time. You can see over here there are the different settings. So I have the account set up, that's why it's showing me the sign in console option, but for you it will be the different one. So you will be able to create your own account, and free account. You can see you just have to create your free account, and if you want to learn more about AWS Trial, you can see what are the different products is available, for how long they are available. You can check out. So, and for that, there are different events also, and I have attended many of them. But like in early days when AWS was just in the starting, so when it was just booming, I attend many events. So you can check out. You can there are different events, and over there you can become a part of the community. So you can check out the events, and when you scroll down, you can see there's a section of join community. Okay, so you can join the community on the website. Everything is available to you. If you want to read about the certain product, you can go to the documentation. You can see each and every product has its own documentation written. So just try to check out. Okay, guys.